All right, YouTube, this is Mr. Mean coming at you this Saturday afternoon. I am trying to get a video out. I am not feeling the best, so I apologize if my voice is a little raspy. I'm fighting a head cold or something and just feel like poop. But I wanted to get a video out as always. So tonight's video du jour is a classic, but yet modern. It's so funny how we get to say that these days. And it is it's one that I've been recently turned on. It's been out for 40 years, and I just recently kind of found this game. I knew about it for a long time, just never any interest in playing it. I'm not a historical buff, but I got turned on to this game by the awesome Nasser Super Beast. He's a big supporter of the channel. He's a Patreon, and he is also very active on the Discord. He's a wealth of RPG knowledge. He's in deep with the GRC over there in Bahrain, so definitely say hi to him if you see him on the Discords. But he introduced me to Mr. Turner and Mr. Staples, and they have been some awesome, super cool dudes that I've had the pleasure of gaming with and chatting with on a regular basis on our Discord, Mr. Mean Speaks. So anyway, without further ado, let's look at Chivalry and Sorcery 5th edition. Yeah, this is hardback. Now, full disclosure, this and a couple of other books were sent to me by Mr. Turner, Stephen Turner, for free, just out of the kindness of his heart. He didn't ask for a review. He didn't ask for anything. But, of course, if you send me something, I'm going to kind of review it because that's what I do. So like I said, never been a fan of Chivalry and Sorcery. It always struck me as, the grognards over in the corner playing that historical RPG. I've seen it played at conventions. I've seen it played at game stores. It just never spoke to me. I mean, I looked at, I think it was either 2nd or 3rd edition. My friend Brian had it, and, we talked about it and stuff, and we mused about it, and going through the gaming years. But it was just never, it was never on my radar. It was never one that I really took any interest in because, like I said, I'm not a historical RPG kind of guy. It never struck me, and I had always heard that it doesn't do fantasy. It is literally historical. You want to play knights, you want to play a peasant in the Middle Ages or whatever. This was the game to play, and it always struck me as odd because it's chivalry and sorcery, but yet it's a historical RPG. So it's just it just never occurred to me to pick it up. So Stephen was kind enough to run two one-shots. That doesn't make any sense. He ran a short adventure that spanned 2 episodes on the Mr. Mean Speaks channel. Go back in the archives and watch it, where I got to play Barnabas Magnus. I have my character sheet right here, and I'm going to tell you, I've had a lot of fun playing mages over the years, but this was, and I'm sorry, his name was Magnus Barnabas. Man, this was the mage character sheet. Hopefully that'll scroll in there so you can see it. You can see all my scribble scratching notes. So let's do our normal review before I get into it. So we're looking at over 40 years of history here, written by Steve Turner and Andy Staples with some development, A.R. Crowley and David Blewett. I hope I said all those names right. It is now produced by Britannia Games Design, which is Steve Turner's house print. And like I said, awesome guy, runs a great game. If he can corral Mr. Mean, he runs a good game. And he was able to get me, Nasser, and a couple other guys and run us through it. Maza, Andrew, I can't think of his real name. Anyway, Maza, he made the other book that I'm really fond of, Bubonica, Grim Aramel. Let's see here. It's got his name in here. Yeah, Andrew Marrington. I couldn't think of his name, drawing a blank. Which, by the way, this would go great in Chivalry and Sorcery. Would totally fit in. But go back and watch my review of Bubonicus because it's awesome. So we got 40 years of RPG goodness. This is the current 5th edition. They had a Kickstarter. It was very successful. It does come with a nice ribbon, so you can bookmark and stuff. It is hardback, stitch sewn binding. It's going to hold up. I can't tell you what the retail is because I did not pay for it. So again, thank you, Stephen, for sending it to me. He sent me a couple of other goodies, which I'm going to review later. We are going to talk about Nightwalkers, though, because he did send me a physical copy of that as well. But he sent me another game that they're working on. What is it? Viz Imperium Victoriana. I haven't even had a chance to look at it. Mr. Mean has been so busy with work. And just the RPG industry. I'm running a couple of different games online. I had to take a break this weekend because I'm just burnt out, stressed out, and I just needed some time off to myself and try to shake this head cold. But Chivalry and Sorcery, 5th edition. If you're like me, and you thought this was only for historical role-playing with like maybe some hedge magic thrown in, you are completely wrong. This game is fully capable of doing your D&D style fantasy. Is it a little more crunchier? Yes, totally. But totally worth it. This game, I think it's a lot of fun myself. Like I said, I got to play it 2 times. I did not make a character. I'm going to tell you right now, character creation is not for the faint of heart. There is a lot that goes into it. It is a crunchy system to create your character. That being said, once you're done with that, though, you have an extremely capable character depending on how you build it. Now, everybody can build a crib death, if you don't pay attention and play within the boundaries that you're given. But if you take the time and you read the sections and you go through and you spend your points wisely, you're going to have a very, very capable character. I call this the anacronym RPG because there are so many anacronyms for everything. But again, from a player standpoint, you don't need to really know all of that. You just need to know what your character does. It is I'm trying to think of the word here. An action economy, but you have points, and I'm trying to think of the name of the points. I'm drawing a blank here. Basic action points, I believe, is BAP 16 for Barnabas here, or Magnus Barnabas. What an awesome mage name. It's a percentage-based game. You're going to roll percentile dice, either 2d10, 1 is your one's your tens, or you can get a D100, or if you're using, online in this day and age right now, I'm a big fan of Foundry, so it has a dice roller in it, stuff like that, or you could use Unity or Roll20, whatever your VTT of choice is. But there's an economy that you do, and everything costs action points. And then you basically just have to, as a player, you would make a cheat sheet. Most of it's on your character sheet, but, drawing a weapon is going to cost 2 action points, or, preparing a spell is going to cost this. And you just make that cheat sheet and you reference it as you need it. And once I played it twice, and by the end of the first game, I was already getting it and understanding what I was doing. So go check the playthrough. I mean, I had a list of my spells, which is, let's see if I can get those on the screen. I was a very capable mage. Sleep was awesome. Fear was another great spell. I had a nice mage staff. So once you get the percentages, you roll percentile. You know what you have to roll, equal to or less than, plus or minus modifiers that the GM's going to put on you. And you also roll an extra D10, which is your critical die. And so I believe, if I remember correctly, a 10 is great, a 1 is good, a 10 is bad, or the other way around. And I apologize. It's been a month since we've played, and I just don't remember. But you're going to roll your percentile dice and a D10, which is your critical die. And that goes for spell casting, doing simple things, and basically all your combat. So it is, you have fatigue points, and everything's going to cost you a certain amount of fatigue, especially spells. Or focus points. See, I'm getting my terminology all messed up. I have too many games. Fatigue cost. Spells have a fatigue cost. So as a mage, all your attributes are important because obviously you put all your points in all your to your intelligence and your wisdom and everything, and you're not going to have those fatigue points to be able to cast a lot of spells, and that's where the mage's bread and butter lies. And it's a really cool system, guys. It's an awesome spell book. You create your spell book. There's a character sheet included in the book. It's quite nice. Steven put this character together for me, but he cut and pasted and put some stuff like Shadow Bolt or Mana Bolt as it's called, was an awesome spell that I got. It cost me 8 fatigue points. Casting time was your sorcery. The range was 60 feet in magic level, I think it was, or mastery level. Duration was 15 seconds. And a bolt of lightning that radiates spectral colors shoots forth to a location within radius of 5 feet. Individuals need not be targeted unless moving rapidly. Those within the radius of effect take 2 times the mana level energy damage. A successful crit die of 9 or 10. So yeah, on the crit die, the D10, you want to roll high. And the damage taken increases by 3 times mana level. I think it was mana level or magic level. Was it magic level or mana level? Don't remember. I'm trying to see if I got a cheat sheet on here, and I don't. But yeah, so yeah, that was cool, man. I'm looking at my character sheet now, getting all giddy about it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that's basically the Shadow Bolt spell. There's a couple of spells. So is it D&D fast? I think it can be. Is it Pathfinder fast? Yeah, I think it can be, actually. I think any game, if the GM knows what he's doing and is prepared, can run fast or slow. It just depends on how much you want to get boggled. There is a GM screen for it. It has a bunch of charts. There's quite a few charts in this game, but it's not as bad as like versus the Dark Master, where it's, versus the Chart Master. Harp, or the other game, the predecessor, Roll Master. We used to call it Chart Master, but hey, we all have fond memories of that game. I know I do. Harn was one of my favorites. I wish I still had my books. I unfortunately got rid of them. But as far as Chivalry and Sorcery goes, we're looking at 560 pages, hardback, full color on the inside, parchment style paper. I just hit my microphone. I apologize if that caused any weird noise. The art inside of it is a mixed bag. Am I wild about the art? No, I'm not. To me, it does not impart that chivalric feel. I will say the art inside of Nightwalkers is much better for imparting that chivalric feel, that tapestry, turn of the century Renaissance style art. But I get why they went with the art choice that they did. And it's not bad art in any stretch of the means. It's just, does it fit your interpretation of the book? To me, it does not. Some of it does. Like here's a good picture. And of course, bear with the camera adjustment and everything. But, that's not a bad picture, And that looks okay, in the book. But there's a couple other pieces in the book where, to me, it just doesn't jive. But is any RPG perfect? No. Are there worse ones out there? Oh, God, yes. Terrifyingly worse. But does it fit the feel of this book? Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't detract from it. Let me put it that way. And is it a good read as far as a rule book goes? Is a RPG that you want to sit down and dive into? Yes, especially if you have any kind of love of history. There's so much in here that's drawn from real world and from how they felt back then, and from the text and everything that we've learned through history. There's a not a dissertation, but there's a blurb in here about Jews and how they were mistreated and how they were considered second-class citizens because the birth of chivalry was all about the Christians. And so Jews were not looked kindly upon. So if you're into history, if you're into real-world situations and how history was back then with a dose of fantasy thrown in, this is your game. If you're on the fence, if you think, oh, can I run a D&D style game? Yes, you can. If you do your prep work and you learn the rules, and the rules are actually, there's a lot of acronyms, but once you learn the base mechanic of the percentage system and the critical die and how that works and how to add and subtract, it's simple math. It's not hard. If I can do it, you guys can do it for sure. This game, I mean, like I said, Stephen ran us through a demon, and I don't want to spoil it in case people go back and watch it, but we fought a nasty, and we were slinging spells, and it was so funny because one of my spells botched, and you'll see, go watch the video. But yeah, really fun. I like I said, I was totally impressed. I did not expect to like this. I thought, ho hum, I'm going to sit through this and I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to bear with it, and I'm going to try to have fun. I didn't have to try, guys. I had a blast. Steven is a great GM. Andy is a great player. Mazza is a great player. NASA is a great player. So yeah, everybody that played that day did a phenomenal job. And I think we all had fun. So the bottom line is, this is a win in my book. There is and the other nice thing is, game publishers don't like to hear me say this, but this is all you need. You don't need to buy any other books. Now I do have a couple of adventures that Steven sent me that I'll review at a later date. I have the Treason adventure module, and I have Craig Hill adventure module. So these are two small softback kind of splat books, if I can get my camera working here. So these are pretty cool. I haven't read them yet. I've kind of flipped through them. So nice stuff in there. So, but you don't have to buy those, right? As a GM, you don't need to ever buy those things. But as a player, you don't have to worry about getting anything. You got a bestiary in here for the GM. You've got a GM section that's quite extensive, and you've got everything the player needs to make a character, level up his character, and play. The character sheets in the book, but of course, go to the website, download the PDFs. It's going to be a lot easier for you. I think it's a win, guys. So I'm going to say buy it if you like a little denser fantasy. If you don't want the D&D cookie cutter, if you don't want the Pathfinder, you want something a little more historically accurate, or something that you can tweak to your lines, this is the game. If you want to play in a medieval Europe, or that time frame, maybe you're Italian or you're German and you want to play in that area, and you want to play a more authentic fantasy game, this will do it for you. I think the mechanics are pretty smooth. I don't remember Steven pausing the game to have to reference anything. Now that's attributed to his awesome skills as a GM, but even as a player, everything I needed was on my character sheet. All I had to do was read, and I was prepared. And of course, when it came my turn, before it was my turn, I was still listening to what everybody was doing, but I was also looking at my spells and knowing what I was going to cast. And then if I had questions, I could ask them immediately on my turn, and then I could go. So everything went really smooth. You'll see in the play when we did the little run through there of the two adventures for the book. I'll leave it at that. The book. It was pretty awesome, and I think it flowed really well. We had some great combat. We got some good critical hits in. We got damaged a lot. Luckily, I don't think Barnabas took any damage. I don't remember taking damage. I think I hurt myself more than anything hurt me. But yeah, still cool. I had some buff spells, so I was able to help my party members. So yeah, magic in this was really cool. I really dug it. So. Chivalry and Sorcery in my book is a win. Is this a game I would play every day? Yes, if I was not the GM, yeah, I would play this. I would dive into this. I would make my own magic user, and I would dive into this, because I think it's got a richness and a depth to it that a lot of games nowadays don't have, because it is based on historical fact, which is kind of cool. How many of our RPGs can say that? So definitely support a small game publisher, A. B, support a really cool game. It's neat, and they've got more great things to come. They're doing some. They just released in PDF. I think it's coming to print soon. Their Goblin and Orcs and Goblins book. I have the PDF. Steven was nice enough to send it to me, so thank you again, sir, for all the good stuff. So that's coming out. So as a GM, you can add that, and I think it has rules in it for Orc players. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I know it's a supplement for Chivalry and Sorcery, and it has, the Orcs and the Goblins in it, which, what more could you ask for? But then he also sent me, because I had mentioned that I was a huge fan of vampires and werewolves, he threw this in, and I don't know if he knew that or if he was just sending me one of everything. But he sent me Nightwalkers, which, again, this is covered in the core rulebook, so you don't necessarily have to buy this, but if you want it to be expanded upon, this is a great source book for GMs and for players. And I don't know what the cost is, so I do apologize. I think the art in here, so let's get it out of the way first. It's softbound, full color on the inside, parchment style paper, same as the core rulebook, which is really neat. Kind of this yellowy paper, which makes it look kind of old. But I mean, the art is all this like tapestry, Renaissance style art or Elizabethan art. I don't know. I'm not an art critic, so I don't know what it's called, but I like that style of art, and it fits in this book really well, because they've just like, I think there's a cool picture. Your vampire, your lady in waiting is a vampire, and she just ate somebody. And there's I guess a vampire knight bursting into flames because he's outside in the sun. So yeah, the art in here really fits the bill. It's very evocative. I like it. But what this does is this gives you werewolves, lycanthropes, and vampires and their ilk. So on the back it says Nightwalkers racial supplement. For those that dare to wander the lands at night, they must be on their guard, for violent creatures stalk the shadows. In this supplement, we bring to you expanded rules allowing your players to create lycanthropes and vampire player characters with information on character design, their social hierarchies, with a selection of magic items and rules for creating societies and cults, with some sample groups, each with adventure hooks and a couple of mini adventures. Bring another facet of your Chivalry and Sorcerer's 5th edition game with this supplement, and welcome the night and all its creatures. So yeah, really cool. We're looking at 74 pages in total, by Paul Wiggy Wade Williams, who those of you that don't know, I'm a huge fan of Wiggy's, because he makes a Savage World setting called Frostgrave, Hellfrost, and it is by far my favorite. It's my second favorite Savage World setting. My first being oh my gosh, I'm having Shintar. I'm having brain farts here, guys. I'm telling you, I'm under the weather. I got a little cough medicine or whatever in me, and I'm just foggy. But Wiggy is amazing. If you haven't checked out his games, go check out his stuff. He's from Triple Ace Games, is his own imprint. But he did this book, and so I mean, it just kismet that it got sent to me, because I'm a huge Wiggy fan, and anything he does is gold, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, this is a supplement, a rules add-on, and you can add werewolves and vampires as player characters, and you can just stat them out and add all kinds of cool stuff. There's even a couple of adventure hooks in here, some maps and stuff. They give you Father Shenton Limes, a 2nd level ordained priest, and they give you all of his stuff and all of his powers. So, and it's part of the adventure in here. I don't want to ruin anything by showing images that may. Magnus Brick of Avanar. Ooh, 4th level human mage. Ooh, he could give me a run for the money. Guys, this is just awesome, guys. This is, straight up. It was also in conjunction with Andy Crowley. It's a rule supplement, so you don't need this to play the game. Let me take my notes off so you can see the screen. You don't need it to see the game, but this is amazing, and it's a nice addition to the core rules. It'll expound upon it, and so your players, and even as the GM, you could use this to make NPCs and stuff, which would be super cool. So yeah, I mean, I could wax on about this for hours, guys. I think it's a really cool system. Yeah, it's heavy, it's crunchy in the front end, I think, but I think definitely as a player, if you're on the fence about this, and I know one of my Discord guys, the Batman, is kind of on the fence, dude. Because they also have a Kickstarter going right now, Land of the Rising Sun, which is their Japan supplement, and I was fortunate enough to get a early peek at the manuscript, and wow, all I can say is you're in for a treat. Go back it; it's totally worth. I'll make sure I put a link to the Kickstarter down in the doobly-doo. Yeah, if you're a fan of medieval Japan, and you want to play in that genre, and you want to play, you're thinking about giving Chivalry and Sorcery 5th edition a whirl, go back that Kickstarter for Land of the Rising Sun. You will be super happy, because then you can add werewolves and werefoxes, kitsune, into your game. So more bang for your buck here. Totally worth it. I think the Kickstarter's in its final days. So Mr. Mean backed it, so it's got some very, very reasonable levels, and I think it's going to be worth every penny of it. So guys, that's my review of Chivalry and Sorcery 5th edition and the Nightwalkers supplement. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is pretty much the end of the video. The rest will be a little bookkeeping that we do at the end of our videos. So if you were here for the review of Chivalry and Sorcery, you can go ahead and click off now if you want. But if you want to stay tuned and learn about my Patreon, the link is there up at the top. I'll put notes down in the doobly-doo for hyperlinks. That'll take you to my Patreon page. It's $5 a month. That gets you a special color on my Discord channel so everyone knows that you're a supporter of Mr. Mean. It also gets you into random drawings, and it also gets you into random RPGs when I decide to run a game or whatever. I'm heavily learning Foundry VTT as a GM to run games in it, and I can say I'm having a blast. I'm really happy that I spent that $50. I'm on MeWe. I'm on ZellyPay. MeWe is like Facebook, but only for cool people. Sorry, you Facebook users out there. You know who you are. MeWe is cool because you get the feeds only what you want to see and no ads. So I'm all about the RPGs. That's all I really care about in my social media. I don't want to read the news. I don't want to know the weather. I don't want to know what's going on in Mexico or anywhere else. I don't want politics. I just want my RPG news, and that's what MeWe allows you to do. You set up groups and you subscribe to groups and you get whatever you want. If you're into news and weather and politics, they have groups for that as well, and it's all closed, and you only see the people you want to see. So you don't get any Viagra ads or anything like that. So for me it works. So I'm on MeWe. Hit me up on MeWe. Send me a friend request. And I'm not very active in MeWe, but I am active in it. Discord is my jam. That's where I spend a lot of my time in Discord. I have it on my phone. I have it on my home computer. And that's where I interact with everybody. We have a very active Discord community, very functional, a lot of nice people, a lot of cool things. So definitely stop on over at the Discord, link in the doobly-doo, and say hi. If you have questions about games, we're there to help. And I may not know the answer, but I'll bet you one of the meanies, the meanie army, someone will know. I'm also on ZellyPay, as I stated. If you're in the U.S. and you want to support the channel as a one-time donation, you can send me a ZellyPay. It's usually banked into your mobile app on your cell phone, so you can do it that way. I'm also on PayPal Pay Me as John Polak, so if you want to send a one-time payment through PayPal, you can do that as well. And I think that's about it, guys. Let me just double-check and make sure I'm not missing. Oh, I do have a affiliate link with DriveThruRPG, so you can click that link, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, but everything you buy, Mr. Mean gets a tiny little kickback. That money does go back into the channel, and thank you to all the people out there that have been using my affiliate link, because the money racks up. It's only a couple pennies here and there, but as people do it just racks up the money. And so that's what allows me to buy these other books. Like I just picked up Stars Without Numbers. I'm getting ready to buy the Master Book 2E revision, I think, from Priestess Intermediary, because Brett Bernstein is a super awesome dude, and go support his products. Blood Shadow, Shatter Zone, Iron Gauntlets, all those cool games. Most of them are in PDF, but you can get Shatter Zone reprinted as a it's the original West End Games version, but cleaned up a little bit and reprinted in a hardback. I have the original box set. I did a video on it. My box, I opened up the book and all the pages fell out because the glue had dried. It was so old. And so I bought the hardback revised edition, and man, I couldn't be happier. And actually, I'm thinking about running with the MasterCards. I'm thinking about running a Shatter Zone game on Discord here in a couple of weeks, maybe a month. See, anything else? I think that's about it, guys. As always, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice.